Well, good afternoon. My name is Meredith Green, and I'm the Kitsap County Treasurer and President of the Olympic College Foundation. On behalf of the Foundation Board, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Virtual Community Luncheon. We thank you for coming, and we're happy to see you on the screen, and we sincerely hope by this time next year, we can once again meet in person. Sit at tables together and enjoy a delicious lunch prepared by Olympic College culinary students. Today is Indigenous Peoples Day, and I'd like to start our event by acknowledging that the region the college supports and occupies are the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish peoples of the Puget Sound region, specifically the Squamish, the Port Gamble Sklallam, and the Squaxin Island tribes. We are grateful for their enduring presence, deep traditional knowledge, and stewardship of the land and waterways we share. We're also grateful to all of you for helping fulfill the promise for OC students. Generous support year after year makes our student success programs possible. For the 2021-22 academic year, the Foundation has awarded more than $300,000 in scholarships to 130 students. We're also a major supporter of Olympic College Students in Need Group, which helps students stay in school by providing textbooks, digital access, emergency aid, housing support, and more. Today, we're excited to introduce you to one of our new scholarships programs, the Olympic College Promise. The Promise is a 3-year pilot program that provides 1 year tuition-free at OC for recent high school graduates. We started with 28 students from the Bremerton High School in 2019. This year, thanks to a generous anonymous donor, we are able to expand to Olympic High School, and we now have 49 students enrolled in the program. The Promise fulfills the gap between financial aid and a student's full cost of tuition and mandatory fees. In addition, the program also provides a support team to help students successfully transition from high school to college. For many Promise scholars, especially first-generation college students, that academic and moral support is just as important as the scholarship dollars. Our first student MC today can attest to that. Wendy Pablo Moricane is in her second year at OC, and her goal is to be a teacher. A first-generation college student, she was a Promise Scholar last year, and this year she is the recipient of a generous scholarship from Bremerton Rotary Club. Before Wendy shares her story, I want to introduce by video the OC Promise class of 2021. The photos in this video were taken during their first day of school.
Hello, I'm Wendy Pablo King, and on behalf of Olympic College students, I'm pleased to welcome you to today's virtual community luncheon. It's also my privilege to acknowledge and thank the many sponsors who make this event possible. Because of their generosity, we've already raised more than $30,000 to help fulfill the promise for OC students. Traditionally, we ask sponsors to stand and be recognized with applause. Today, we're going to ask the audience to try something different. Instead of clapping, please show your appreciation for our community sponsors by using the emojis in the lower right corner of the display to give a thumbs up or virtual applause. We want to start by sincerely thanking our presenting sponsor, Kitsap Bank. Kitsap Bank has supported OC students and this event for more than 2 decades. Next are our Dean's List sponsors, Barnes & Noble and the Bremer Trust. Our honor roll sponsors are BNY Mellon, Giza Credit Union, Kitsap Community Foundation, Kitsap Credit Union, the Suquamish Tribe, and the Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. Our booster level sponsors are Orchard Foods, Skookum Construction, Tim Ryan Construction, and the Hearthstone CPA Group. And finally, our media sponsors are Kitsap Peninsula Business Journal and the Kitsap Sun. Thank you for supporting the education of students like me. And before I move on to the next speaker, I would like to share a little bit about myself. So I am a second-year college student at Olympic College. My goal right now is to get my associates in arts and then transfer over to Western Washington, where I will be getting certified and getting my endorsements to become either a Spanish teacher or a ESL teacher. How I came about those options were mainly because I speak fluent English and Spanish, and I know that I want to teach students about Spanish and the culture behind it. And also, for the ESL part, I was once an ELL student, so an English learner language. And so being able to help students and kind of turn the tables around is really something I want to give back to the community, because I benefited from the ELL program so much. And I think that, without it, I wouldn't be where I am now. And last year, I was part of the OC Promise. And this program, pays for the first year of college and just overall help students with navigating through college. And I'm very entirely grateful for that program, because they were there for me academically and mentally, especially with everything being virtual. I think they helped us not just achieve better goals or any of that, but they also wanted to make sure that we were doing okay, like what they could possibly help us even more. They go really beyond. And even now that I'm not part of those who promised, I was reached out by one of the coaches and said, if you ever need anything, just let me know. I know you're not part of the program, but I'm still going to be here for you. And that's just an amazing thing to do. And I just wanted to thank you all, the donors today, because you gave an opportunity to someone to live their dreams. And that's an amazing thing to do. You're letting me pursue my education without having to worry about funds or being scared to do things. Because if I'm honest, this is my first year. I'm a first generation college student. And so my parents received some kind of high school education, but did not pursue other higher education. So when it came to enrolling in college, they couldn't help me out, or they didn't necessarily understand how they could help me or how everything works. So having this OC Promise really helped me navigate through it and just have a better understanding of what to do. And if they didn't know the answer, they were very quick to find out how to. And again, I'm very grateful for this program, because you're letting me and other students live their dreams. And I do this for you guys too, because I think about my family and how they supported me through working really hard and the sacrifices they made, and also from you guys, the funding, because I do this for you guys, because you invested in this, my education and the others, and I don't want to let you guys down. And so I do this because I have the support from a lot of people in my community. And again, I'm very thankful for each and one of you today. Now, I'd like to introduce my fellow Promise Scholar, Teresa Kalaluka.
Hi, I'm Teresa Kalaluka, and I was a 2020 to 2021 Promise Scholar along with Wendy. I'm now in my second year, and I'm very grateful for this year to be a recipient of the Goodman Academic Merit Scholarship. A little bit about myself. I'm currently majoring in biology and hope to transfer to the University of Washington at the end of this year to become a medical laboratory technician. My high school class graduated at the beginning of the pandemic, so I was unsure about where I was going to be when I started college and how it was all going to work out online. So when I received the promise, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, but through the different communities that I built in the OC Promise, it was a really great situation that happened. Having that financial support and only having to worry about the academics rather than how I was going to pay for college was a really big relief for me, and something where I didn't have to take off a year of school to work, but rather I was able to just focus on my academics, which was very important to me. My goal was to get a 4.0 at the end of my first year, and thankfully I ended up getting a 3.997. I'm really grateful for all the things that OC offers, including math and engineering and science and health programs. I'm really grateful for the OC Promise and the community that I was able to build within it and the financial support that I was able to receive. And I'd like to give a big thanks to the donors here. The Promise was a major impact on my life, not even for the financial part, but the community that I was able to build. And I hope this program goes on for many, many years. Now we have a special presentation, the Kitsap Bank Scholarship.
Good afternoon. I'm Shannon Childs, Chief Marketing Officer at Kitsap Bank, and I'm here with Olympic College student Jane Barton. Jane is pursuing her bachelor's degree in organizational leadership. Kitsap Bank is very pleased to be able to support the Olympic College Community Luncheon once again, as we have for over 2 decades. And in 2004, we established the Kitsap Bank Scholarship, which is designed to support a student who is pursuing a degree in a business-related field or cybersecurity. And it's my distinct honor to present a $1,500 scholarship today to Jane. Our selection committee was very drawn to Jane's application because of her compelling personal story, which I hope she will share with you. But just a little bit of background on Jane that I'd like to share is that she's the mother of 3 grown sons. She's the grandmother of 5 beautiful grandchildren. She earned her way onto the President's Scholastic Honors List with a 3.9 GPA while working full-time and participating in the Olympic College student body government. She's an active volunteer in our community and clearly has boundless energy. I'm very pleased to introduce Jane Barton.
After raising 3 boys and having 5 grandchildren, I found myself suffering from medical conditions which left me homeless and jobless. Coming back to Olympic College allowed me to get my fresh start and further my life. I would like to thank Kitsap Bank for the willingness to invest in an older generational student. Not many people or organizations are willing to do that. With their help, I will be able to succeed and give back to my community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Childs, and to Kitsap Bank. Year after year, your support helps ensure a promising future for OC students. We have 2 more special awards to announce. Our Dean's List sponsors, Barnes & Noble and the Bremer Trust, are funding the following grants. A portion of the Bremerton Barnes & Noble Sport sponsorship will provide a $500 grant to OC Textbooks program, administered by the Students in Need group. In an average year, the program lends 500 books per quarter, saving students about $250,000 a year. And a portion of the Bremer Trust sponsorship will provide a $500 grant to the OC Business and Accounting Club. The club was one of the first from a community college to compete in a prestigious KPMG financial accounting case competition in Seattle. Now we're in for a treat. Mackenzie Jacobs and Kalia Stodden are performing When You Believe from the movie The Prince of Egypt. Mackenzie is completing her associate's degree this quarter and entering OC's nursing program in January. Kalia is the recipient of the Al Marie King Education Scholarship and an aspiring music teacher. She and her sisters are well known for their musical talents and have been a highlight of previous luncheons. Please welcome Mackenzie and Kalia.
Hi there, I'm Mackenzie and this is Kalia. We're going to be performing When You Believe from The Prince of Egypt. The reason that I chose this piece to perform is because I feel like it really captures the spirit of a promise coming true. And so with the Promise Foundation being something that makes so many students' dreams come true, I felt like it was really fitting. And it's our pleasure to be able to perform for you today. Many nights we prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. There can be miracles when you believe. When you believe, somehow you will. You will when you believe. In this time of fear, when prayer so often proved in vain, hope seemed like the summer bird too swiftly flown away. Now I'm standing here with heart so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe. Thank you.
Wow, now that was fantastic. That was beautiful. Thank you, Mackenzie and Kalia, for sharing your passion and your talent in music with us today. Good afternoon. It's very exciting to see all of you today. If you like networking, I hope you had as much fun as I did, jumping around to the different tables and into the lounge. I wish we didn't have to leave those rooms so soon. I am honored to be speaking to you today. I'm Marty Cavalluzzi, the president of Olympic College. And although we are not in person today, I'm happy to say Olympic College is going as strong as ever. Our mission, which is to enrich our student communities through quality education, our mission, which is to enrich our diverse communities through quality education and support so students can achieve their educational goals, has never been more important than during this trying time in our society. Throughout the pandemic, Olympic College has been consistently offering classes in person, fully online, and in a hybrid version, which is a combination of in-person and online classes. In addition, all student support services were moved to an online or remote environment so that all students could be served. From financial aid, enrolling, tutoring, library services, advising, counseling, and many other services I could mention, Olympic College employees rose to the occasion and looked at new ways to serve our students. Some of these new methods of engaging with our students have been so successful that we're continuing in them as we continue to open up the college to even more face-to-face classes and services. And our efforts have been rewarded because I'm happy to report that throughout this pandemic, we've continued to offer some classes and programs in person, and Olympic College has had just relatively few positive cases of COVID on campus and no super spreader events. We were able to successfully offer classes because we believe in our mission. We believe in fulfilling our promise to help students successfully enroll at Olympic College, to help them pick a career pathway, to help them get on that path, to help them stay on that path in order to get them all the way to the finish line, which is to graduate. At the same time, Olympic College has doubled down on closing equity gaps. There are some students and some student groups who do not do as well as others, and that's on us. We see many examples of inequity across the college. For example, some students are not successful unless they have someone help them study or actually help them learn how to study or learn how to write effectively. For these reasons and many more, we offer tutoring and a writing center. We offer a military veterans office to help students transition from serving our country in the military to being students. In addition, we also offer financial aid for those students who cannot afford college. There are many other examples of inequities that we see, and we are addressing those. Addressing some of these inequities are where you come in. I just mentioned the inability to pay for college being a barrier for some students. The OC Promise, which allows area high school students to attend college by covering the costs of their tuition and other expenses and providing advising and other supports to help those students be successful, is one way we're helping students enter into college and thrive. This expanding program has the promise to greatly change the number of students who attend college. In addition, your contributions to the foundation help students remain in college. We know many students would never be able to remain in college nor graduate without the help of scholarships. When I meet students who have received scholarships, they often cry because they tell me that they thought they'd have to drop out. They also cry because they say that someone believes in them. And I'm asking you today to believe in our students. You just heard from one of our students, Wendy, a few minutes ago, and you heard how powerful her story is. So I'm asking you to believe in someone you may have never met, I believe in helping your community members because our students are your community members. Any support of our students, either through the OC Promise or scholarships, would be greatly appreciated and could help someone be successful in college, in a career, and in life. I also want to point out that today is National Online Bank Day. A great way to honor National Online Bank Day would be for you to visit your bank online and make a contribution to Olympic College Foundation. Thank you for believing in our students, and thank you for your support. So now with that, it is now my great honor to introduce United States Representative Derek Kilmer. Representative Kilmer represents Washington's 6th congressional district. In fact, Representative Kilmer is in his 5th term in the U.S. House of Representatives doing just that, representing us. Representative Kilmer is a huge supporter of economic development and has been working for over 15 years to help improve our local economy in the Puget Sound region. One way he does that is by supporting higher education. In every single meeting I've ever had with Representative Kilmer, he asks if there's any way he can help Olympic College. And I know from personal experience, he does that with every group he meets with. I wish everyone could be so responsive and so responsible. One thing I love about Representative Kilmer is that he is all in. When he commits to something, you get 100%, and you get that every time. You may not know this, but both of his parents were school teachers, so he fully understands the value of education. He has also won accolades and awards for his bipartisan approach to his work in addressing regional issues. So rather than me speaking about Representative Kilmer for several minutes, which I could do, I'm going to stop talking and let him speak. And with that, I give you Representative Derek Kilmer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hello, everybody. It's great to be with you today, even if it's only virtually. Listen, this has already been an awesome event. The scholarship recipients were really inspiring. Hearing that awesome song from Mackenzie was terrific. President Cavalluzzi is right. I always ask him what I can do to help OC. Unfortunately, this last time he asked me if, like Mackenzie, I would also do a musical number. So I will now be performing Do You Want to Build a Snowman from the hit musical movie Frozen. Just kidding. Okay. Actually, over the years that I've joined you all during this luncheon, we've had themes like Harry Potter, where thankfully I was sorted into Gryffindor. There was one luncheon about superheroes where I tried to get folks excited about the newest Marvel character, Congressman. But honestly, today we have a pretty incredible theme. It's about fulfilling our promises, which is something I take really seriously. Though to my chagrin, it's a notion that I think doesn't happen enough. And I'm not just saying that with regard to some of my colleagues in Washington, D.C. I had a guy in a TV commercial promise me that if I bought clothes from his store, that I'd like the way I'd look. He guaranteed it. And yet, perhaps he didn't see how that green tie looked on me. Promise not kept. A highly caffeinated beverage promised to give me wings. Promise not kept. No wings. I was promised 30-minute delivery for my pizza on Friday night, and I can tell you that 52 minutes later, I had a really grumpy 12-year-old. Speaking of my 12-year-old, I was promised by my kids that they would most definitely do all of the work if we got another puppy. Not all of those promises were true, and not all of them were fulfilled. In fact, when we're finished here, I have to go take my Australian Shepherd Penny for a quick walk around the block. But you know what promise is fulfilled? The promise of higher education and the promise of OC. The investments that we make in higher education are investments that fulfill promises really at 3 different levels: for our country, for our community, and for students. So let me just quickly talk about all 3. First, when we invest in higher education, we fulfill a promise to our country that we aren't going to just let economic growth happen someplace else. When I worked in economic development in Tacoma, I had a sign on my wall that said, "We are competing with everyone, everywhere, every day, forever." And I admit, I often found that sign a bit intimidating, but it's also a really good ethic, not just for folks working in local economic development, but for our country too. The reality is that the nations with whom we compete aren't just sitting on the sidelines. They want to eat our lunch, and we shouldn't let them. There's a reason that going all the way back to the GI Bill and going all the way back to the response to Sputnik, our nation recognized that our future from an economic standpoint and even from a national security standpoint depended on investments in higher education. So here's what we know. When we invest in higher education, when we invest in OC and its students, we invest in winning that competition. Second, we also know that investing in higher education and in OC particularly, it delivers on a promise made to Kitsap County and its employers. Our local employers count on OC. The shipyard counts on OC to produce skilled tradespeople. St. Michael's Hospital counts on OC to produce folks with skills in allied health. Our local financial institutions depend on OC to produce folks with skills in business and accounting. Our local tech firms count on them to learn cyber skills. I could go on and on. So the promise fulfilled by OC is one for jobs in our local community. But what's more, according to the International Economic Development Council, the number one factor that businesses use in making their location decisions is the availability of good, skilled, educated workers. So it's not just a promise made to our current employers, it's one made to future employers too. Okay, third, and this one's probably the most important, the promise made by Olympic College to its students is that an education at OC will create opportunity for them. Let's break that down for a second. Investing in higher education, investing in OC is a promise fulfilled in the form of employment. The data tell us that as educational attainment goes up, so does the likelihood that someone will be employed rather than unemployed. Beyond that, it's a promise fulfilled in addressing income inequality. Again, the data tell us that as educational attainment goes up, so does pay. If you get a certificate, it goes up. If you get an associate's degree, it goes up. If you get a bachelor's degree, it goes up. But listen, the promise of higher education isn't just seen in the data, it's seen in the stories. It's seen in the story of the nursing student at OC who's now able to get a great job where she provides care to all of our loved ones, which, as we've seen over the last couple of years, is more important than ever. It's seen in the story of the graduate of the Shipyard's Apprenticeship Program, a program that has won the Association of Community Colleges Excellence Award. That student who can now go on to work at the shipyard to make an amazing living protecting our sailors. It's seen in our political science students who we are going to count on to fix all of this. Listen, I could go program by program and talk about the important work being done. The faculty and the staff at OC are fulfilling promises to students every day. The leaders at Olympic College, including OC's fearless leader, Dr. Cavalluzzi and Trevor Ross, and all of the board members and administrators and trustees and faculty are fulfilling promises to our young people. I say that because they remind us that talented educators, teaching committed students, can keep our community and our economy strong. But listen, the work that's done here, the knowledge that's developed here, is only able to happen when students are able to afford it, when these doors of economic opportunity aren't locked for them. And that means that perhaps the most important people fulfilling promises today are all of you watching and listening today, the supporters of the OC Foundation. Okay, listen, I am ethically prohibited from making an ask of you to donate to this foundation, but I can tell you this. I can tell you that when the foundation helps OC students, it makes it more likely that they can fulfill the promises we discussed today. I can tell you what it meant to me. I couldn't have gone to college if it hadn't been. I got loans and I washed dishes in the college dining room, which my wife believes is the best skill I learned in college. But I also had a community that cared enough about me to provide scholarships to help me pay for college. I can tell you that I think it was Beyonce who said it best when she said, "If you're keeping your promise, I'm keeping mine." Now, I think she may have been referring to Jay-Z. But the reality is when scholarship funds are available to students, when we keep our promise to them, they keep their promise to us by filling jobs and contributing to our community. I can remind you that when you support the OC Foundation and the foundation supports local students, it means people in our region can fill open jobs. It means we don't have to worry about our largest export being our young people. And I can tell you in closing that when you support the OC Foundation, you're going to like the way it feels. I guarantee it.
I am interested in business management. I was, I work in retail and I love the just the business mindset and dealing with customers.
I'm planning to major in biology. That way I can be a pharmacologist, I believe it is.
So I'm studying social work. I want to get my A in that because I want to be a social worker. I want to work with kids in the system because a lot of my friends growing up were in the system and I lost a lot of them to that, whether it be moving or other things.
The Promise is helping me by giving me like a team full of people that actually support me and that like actually give me some support that I know I can go to like any time of the semester. Otherwise, I don't really know who like I would specifically go to. I like it. Like, I love it. It's honestly great. They paid, I don't think I could have paid for my tuition, like the rest of my tuition, if they hadn't covered it.
When I found out about the OC Promise, that I was part of it, I was really shocked. Like I said, like I struggle financially, but OC Promise made it easier for me to just narrow my path. And so that's why I chose OC, is because not only they made my life much easier, but they alleviated some of the problems that was running through my head. And so I'm just beyond grateful and like really thankful for the people that make it happen for a student like me.
And I got really excited about that because a year of tuition would have, it did make, it means the world to me. I probably wouldn't have been able to go to college otherwise. Money's a really hard thing, and I'm really appreciative of this opportunity.
Since I moved here, I migrated from the Philippines. Since I migrated, I knew from the beginning that my education or attaining education, a higher education, will be the key to be successful, because a number one goal of mine is to, like, just to say, to pay back what my mom did for me, to make her proud. And so for people who donate and just like help out in our community, especially to make the OC, the Promise, possible, like, they're the best. Like, you know, like, put them in the aisle with like DC heroes and Marvel heroes.
I'm just like, thank you guys, because y'all made a whole bunch of stuff possible for a whole lot of kids that really wouldn't have been possible.
I would like to say thank you for giving children who are just coming out of high school a chance to be able to get an education they wouldn't otherwise. To be able to relieve the stress of worrying about, how am I going to pay for my tuition? How am I going to work out getting my books? How am I going to do XYZ in college if I can go to college at that point? Because it is really make or break for some people with money wise. So I'm really, really happy to have this opportunity, and I'm super glad that the people who donate to this do that. I see it helping a lot of people.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leah Olson, Vice President of Development for the Olympic College Foundation Board of Directors, and I'm also Vice President of Marketing at Kitsap Credit Union. Well, unlike Congressman Kilmer, I have no prohibition on asking. So, in fact, I count it a huge privilege, and I'm here to ask you today to help us fulfill the promise for OC students. I don't know about you, but did anyone else get really choked up when you were listening to the student stories? Wow. I've served on the board here for about 3 years now, and I think that has to be my favorite part of serving on the Olympic College Foundation Board, is to hear directly from the students that we're helping. It's why we're all here, supporting students like the ones you've met today, and all of this year's 130 Foundation Scholarship students. Doesn't that just make a difference in their lives? It makes a difference for our entire communities. And I love what Wendy had to say about the OC Promise, giving her the opportunity to live her dreams. And that's what your gift does. It helps students live out their dreams. As a reminder, although we're highlighting the Bremerton Promise, the OC Promise at this event, your gift today supports all of the Foundation Student Success programs. And I'm asking you to make a personally meaningful gift of at least $125 or more so that we can help transform even more lives of OC students. And $125, that's equal to the cost of one average college textbook. And since we're not seated in the OC gym today, I can't ask you to pass your donations directly to your table captains. So instead, we've gotten a little creative, and I'm going to tell you about 3 easy ways that you can give and support students like the ones you've had an opportunity to meet today. The first opportunity to give is through Olympic College's Foundation's website, and that is olympiccollegefoundation.org. And we'll put that in the chat so that you can see it there. And we'll also just remind you that in your program that you received prior to today's event, all three of these giving methods are in that program for you. The second method that you can give is through text messaging. Just text the word give to area code 360-226-7111. And that will take you directly to the website where you can give. And then the third method is just to mail your check to the foundation office, and you'll find that address right there in the chat for you. And just as a reminder, it's also in your program that you received. From myself and the board and the college, all of the students that you've heard from today, we just want to give you our heartfelt thanks for helping fulfill the promise for OC students. And before we wrap up, we're going to take it back to Meredith Green, who wants to honor some special members of our audience today. Meredith?
Thank you, Leah. I am honored to announce 3 new emeritus board members. These members join the emeriti board members who are listed in your program, who are also so honored because they serve the foundation in a leadership role with distinction. Collectively, the 3 new members who joined their ranks have served over 30 years with the foundation and all recently rolled off the foundation board. They are Monica Blackwood, Diana Smelland, and Jim Sund. And I wish we were present so that they could stand and be recognized. They are just incredible people. Jim joined the board in 2012, serving as president from 2017 to 18. Diana joined the board in 2011 and chaired both the finance and governance committees. Monica joined the board in 2010, served a 2-year president term, and fiercely advocated for a finish line scholarship to help OC students complete their degrees, whether it be paying for a book or the printing of their degree. So Jim, Monica, and Diana, thank you for your service and congratulations. I look forward to seeing you on next year's program under the amongst the other emeriti board members. And now I'm pleased to introduce our Executive Director, Trevor Ross, to close out today's program.
Thank you very much, Meredith. You know, I am humbled and honored to be part of this organization and be part of Olympic College. The work we do is, I just can't say enough, and everybody on this program today, it's just amazing. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you for attending our virtual event and for all of your support. Because I started as the executive director of the foundation during the pandemic, I personally have never had the opportunity to attend this event in person. However, next year at this time, I sincerely hope we all have the opportunity to be together in person for this absolutely amazing event. Everything that was said here today was just, it really was touching and brought a tear to my eye. Before we go, I'd like to give a special thanks to all the past and present board members of the Olympic College Foundation. The board of directors that I work with are just absolutely amazing, and I couldn't do the work, and we couldn't do the work here at the foundation without their support. The foundation board is a dedicated group of individuals who volunteer their time to support Olympic College students, and we wouldn't be able to accomplish our mission of transforming lives without them. I'd also like to say a very special thanks to the following individuals. All of the table captains who invited guests today, thank you very much for your support. Thank you for inviting guests, and thank you for the guests that came. I'd like to say a very special thank you to the students who shared their stories, which are just absolutely amazing, and there's so many more like them. And most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you for coming today. Without your support, we couldn't do the work that we do to allow our students to live their dreams. Now, with all of that said, I'd like to close by asking you to return to your tables and say goodbye to the people that you came with, and or anybody else. So we'll conclude the event with some networking. So we really appreciate your support. And again, thank you.